Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, Hare Ram. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Krishna 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 Sangapangas Parsadam Yagni Sankirtana Praya Vidanti Hikme Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. So we'll start with Sankirtan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Radha Govinda Das Swami Nityananda. Namaste Prabhupada Devam Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishe Sunyavadi Gramya Dandistarine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Swami Nityanamine. Prabhupada Sahitya Ya Prakasya Vikiryatya Prachar Kutvan Sadhu Bhagavad Pada Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Vasata Desatarine. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuran Militan Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttam Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Saudhutam Payana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Priya Radha Krishna Padam
Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhamritamriksha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Ganeshwari Rushabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haritri Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhyaevacha Patidanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Bhajatri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yadvait Gadadhar Srivasavi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Bhajatri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasavi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasavi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaum Vishnupad Paramhams Parivraj Kacharya Astrodar Sri Srimad Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद की जाए श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिगोवर्धन की जाए श्री वृंदावन धाम की जाए श्री नवदीप धाम की जाए गंगा माई की जाए जमुना माई की जाए तुलसी देवी की जाए भक्ति देवी की जाए संविता भक्त वृंद की जाए ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज हरे कृष्ण Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol Jai Shri Krishna everyone Hari Bol Jai Shri Krishna Hari Bol very good. So welcome to our summer camp for 18 days and we are entering today the 14th day 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 so we'll be completing on Sunday is 18
Prakrutina Pranguna.
Right. So the whole Vedic knowledge is contained in which literature or which scripture? The whole Vedic knowledge. Four Vedas. All right.
Okay.
4 Vedas. That's where the whole Vedic knowledge. And for you and me to read Vedas and understand is out of scope. All right. So Brahmanas and learned sages explained these 4 Vedas into Upanishads. How many Upanishads are there? 108.
108.
All right. That also is beyond our reach. All right. So then Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopal Nandana. Then came Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan Krishna himself spoke it. So he gave the gist of everything in this 108 lokas, Upanishads into Bhagavad Gita. So we are very fortunate that we are studying this Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. Out of these, there are 3 divisions of 6 chapters each. First 6 chapter is about Karma Yoga. Last 6 chapters about Jnana Yoga. And the middle 6 chapters are about Bhakti Yoga. All right. So the gist of all Vedas and everything is Bhagavad Gita, middle 6 chapters. All right. That is the whole gist of every Vedas and everything. That's the middle Bhakti Yoga. All right. That's why Bhagavan Krishna will say in the 15th chapter, Vedesya sarver ahame vedyo. All right. Out of all the Vedas, you need to know only one person. And who is that? I am that person, Lord Krishna says. Vedesya sarver ahame vedyo. Vedanta krut ved videvacha. I am the one who compiled, made all the Vedas and everything. So I am the center of everything. If you know me, you know everything.
Yes.
So that's why our goal is to know Lord Krishna. Right? We saw in the 4th chapter, to know Bhuvan Krishna is not an easy job.
Right.
Out of millions, only one knows, or even one tries. Right? And out of those who try, only one knows him in truth. All right? So we are only 6 people here out of millions on this planet. We are lucky because we are shortlisted in that.
Right.
Bhagavan Krishna says that my birth, my activities, they are divya. Divya means they are not ordinary, like any ordinary condition. So they are divya. So janma karma chame divam evam yo vetti tattvata. You need to know that in truth. All right. Karma janma ajopi sanavyatma. But still I take birth. I take birth from Devaki Mata. Also I take birth from
Yashoda Maya.
Yashoda Mata. Both places I take birth. Who knows all this? Nobody knows. How he is unborn and is taking birth. All right. So this is why you need to know him in truth. To know him in truth, you need one condition only. Just ask yourself that something which you want to keep very secret, you will not tell anyone. But you will tell whom you trust. All right? Whom you trust, you will tell, just like your son or someone you will tell. Similarly, we have to reach and receive that confidence. All right? So that Bhagavan Krishna will think, no, this person, this soul is mine, is my relative, my son, I must tell him. But the matter is so deep, confidential that you on your own cannot. Right? So you need a guru. And who is the guru we are following here?
Prabhupada.
His divine grace. Right? Sri Prabhupada Maharaj. So if you follow in his footsteps, he will recommend us, he will let us know how to know him truth. Bhagavan Krishna also says that Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yasyasmi tattvata. Only by bhakti you can know me, not by gnan, karma, dhyan, no. Only by bhakti you can know me in truth. And for that, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena seva. You have to go to a guru, right? Fall down at his feet, surrender unto him, render service. Then he will give you the knowledge, right? So all this knowledge we are receiving because we are serving Prabhupada Maharaj. We are serving Prabhupada Maharaj not in person, in Vani. He has said, do these things we are doing, all right? So this is how we are at now, 14th chapter. The last chapter we saw about was what is a kshetra. Kshetra means what is this body, right? And who is the knower of this body? The spirit soul. And then there is another knower of all the bodies, that is Paramatma, right? If these three things we know, then we knew what is knowledge. What is knowledge we knew. And what is to be known, that also we saw. And who is to be known? Lord Krishna is to be known. And what is that knowledge? Knowledge, I am not this body. I'm a spirit soul, part and parcel of Lord Sri Krishna. My duty is to render him service and do it practically. But this is knowledge, nothing else. All right? If you do that practice of rendering service to him, you have assimilated every knowledge. All right? That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this formula. What is that formula? That's chant his holy names. Very easy, very easy. All right? You chant his holy name with faith and do him service, all right? Or preaching to others, Bhagavad Gita, explaining about Bhagavan Krishna. All these things makes you purified, all right? But in our conditioned stage, all right? Conditioned stage means we are not completely liberated, right? We are conditioned by this body, all right? You and me do not want to become old, but we have to become old. You and me do not want to suffer from diseases, but you will. And you and me don't want to part from this body, one day you will be kicked out, right? So all this is known as conditions, all right? You and me don't want to get that condition. If somebody commits some very high crime like murder, they committed so many places, what will the police will do? Police will come, arrest, find out first of all, this is the person of interest or whatever, catches him, proves that he is the one who does, takes him to the court puts him in the jail. Why is put in the jail? So that he is reformed. Right? Not that you punish him and throw him away, he does again like that. No. In the jail, the whole program is a reformation of his character so that he becomes a normal citizen. Normal citizen means one who follows the laws, does not commit crime. All right. But we are all in jail right now. That's why we are conditioned. Otherwise, who wants to die? Nobody wants to die. But we will have to die. So this is known as conditioning. And who conditions us? The Maya. Right? And the Maya has three ropes. Three ropes. These three ropes are the ones which are binding. These ropes are invisible. All right? But still they are made up of gold, silver, and iron. So what are these chains and all this? This is the subject matter of today's chapter number 14th. The chapter number 14th is described as the three modes of material nature. Right? So first of all, what is material nature? Material nature means all the matter you see around. What are the matters you see? Earth, air, fire, water, ether, all these things which you see outside, they are like that. Also, mind, intelligence, and ego. This we learned in 7th chapter. This is Maya. But this Maya, is this Maya alive or inert? This is inert. Right? Do you see any stone talking or growing big? No, because these are inert. That's why the Lord Krishna calls them separate. But there is a governor. There is one who controls these 8 elements. Who is that? That's called Durga Devi. Maya. She is the Maya, who is the one who controls us. How does she control? With these 3 ropes. The 3 ropes are known as goodness, passion, and ignorance. Goodness is golden chain. Passion is silver. And the tamas is the iron chain and the car. Ignorance, all this. So this is introduction to this chapter. I'll go slowly. There in our Mahabharata, Ramayana, there are 3 persons, all right? 3 brothers who represent these moods very much. Exactly represent. Who are these? Anyone knows from Mahabharata, Ramayana, anywhere? There are 3 brothers who represented Sattva gun, Rajogun, Tamogun.
Yeah, Kumbhakarna, Vibhishan and Ravan.
Yes, Ravan is Rajogun,
Rajas.
right? And Kumbhakarna is sleeping 6 months. Tamas gun. Vibhishan is in Sattva gun, is Bhavan Krishna's bhakta, like that. So this is a small introduction to here. Okay, this chapter has 20 slokas. No, this is 27 slokas are there.
Thirteen chapters.
Yeah, 14th chapter.
14 chapter.
14 chapter. Which sloka, sir?
There are total 17 slokas are there.
Oh, okay.
All right. And out of these, the first 13 slokas, they are telling us the conditioning of the soul by these material modes, how we have become conditioned. All right. We are spirit soul that we have seen yesterday, but how we are bound. Condition means bound. All right. Condition means you have to live within these conditions. All right. For example, you and me, we see the birds flying. Right? Why I cannot fly? You and me cannot fly. Why? Because we are conditioned. But the birds can fly. They are conditioned like that. But the birds cannot live in the water. The fish can live in the water. We cannot live. So all this is called conditioning. Conditioning by certain bodies. All right. So that's first 13 slokas. Then 14 to 18th is effects of conditioning by these modes. What are the effects? Right. For example, if you are in Sattva gun, what will be the effect? When you are in Rajogun, what will be the effect? And when you are Tamogun, what will be the effect on you? So this is how these modes work. What are their effects? All this is given in those 14 to 18 slokas. And the last section is from 19 to 27. The most important part of this chapter is that one. Why? Because it teaches you. What does it teach you? That how to transcend these modes and get liberated. So if you are put in the jail, the most important portion of your stay in the jail is how to get out of here. So that is why this last chapter is very important in those last section, slokas, that will tell us how to get out of here. Right? So that is very important to understand. Okay, so in this previous chapter, we saw that in the 13.22 slok, which says, Purushaha prakriti sohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam gunasangasya sad asad yoni janmasu. So the living entity takes up repeated birth and death due to what? Due to association with the modes of material nature. All right. If you leave this body in Sattva gun, then you will get higher planets. When you live in the Rajogun, you remain a human being. Tamogun, you become an animal. All right. So all these will be explained like that. This was just introduction, that because of association, which gun you have associated throughout your life, that will be counted at the end. All right. So that is why to live in which gun is very beneficial for us to get liberated will be highlighted. Right. So this is what it is. So in this chapter, Krishna explains what those three modes of material nature are. Number 2, how they work. Number 3, how they bind the living entity. And number 4, how bhakti can take you beyond the modes of material nature. Right? All throughout, we have always emphasized one slok, 14.26. You remember that? Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevi sa gunan samtitetan brahma. So gunan samtitetan means gunatit, one who becomes beyond modes of material nature. So that's our goal, because we want to get out of birth and death. But the job is not easy. The job requires parisram, dedication, determination. All these things require for one thing only. What is that? How to please Lord Krishna through serving his pure devotee. This is simple formula. All right, very good. All right, so in the first 13 sloks, the conditioning of the soul by the material modes is described. In the first and second slok, Krishna is glorifying pure knowledge. In these first two verses, Krishna is glorifying the knowledge that he is going to reveal in this chapter. All right. What is the first slok says? Again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. Param guhyam pravakshami gnanam gnanam nam uttamam yad gnatva munaya sarve param siddhim itogata. So this is the first slok which Bhagavan Krishna is telling the effect of this knowledge. Number 2 slok he says, idam gnanam upasritya mama sardhyam agataha sarge api no upajayate pralayana vyatyanti cha. By taking shelter of this knowledge, one can attain the same nature of mind. Right? What is Lord Krishna's nature? 3 words.
Satchidanand.
Satchita Anand.
Right, Satchidanand Vigraha. This is Bhagavan Krishna's nature. So you and me can get that nature. In this body, we are now not Sat. Our body is temporary. We are not full of knowledge. So Chit is not there. And we are always in problems. Right? So this is why this conditioning is not good for us. That is the first stop of knowledge. If you ask X, Y, and Z, how are you, sir? How are you doing? I'm okay, perfectly okay, pretty much good. That's what they say. They don't realize. Right? Why they don't realize? Because they think that I'm this body and I'm doing okay. Right? But they don't realize that this cycle keeps on rotating in different bodies. Right? And the life, anyone you ask in their life, was your life completely happy all the time, sir? No, there are problems. All right. So this is why one who has knowledge realizes this, that there must be a life somewhere where there are no such problems. All right. Then he wants to find out where, and Bhagavan Krishna gives all the information. All right. All right. So by taking shelter of this knowledge, one can attain the same nature as that of Bhagavan Krishna. One is freed from repeated birth and death, doesn't take birth again, all right, or experience pain of death anytime. All right. So what will happen one day to this sun which you see in the sky? So all the planets which you see in the sky, one day will come when everything will be dissolved. This is known as pralay. All right. Everything will be dissolved and destroyed. And where will it go and get repose? Where will it live? All the jivas, they cannot be removed, right? They cannot be killed because they are eternal. So where will they go?
Mahavishnu's.
He will go into the Mahavishnu's body, along with what? You and me, along with which we will go there.
Along with our karmas.
And
Desire.
desires. All right. So make a point. Bhagavan Krishna says, who does my bhakti, I'll take care of all the sins. There will be no problem with the sins. But the desires, Bhagavan Krishna cannot make desires for you. You have to make desires. All right. So if you have any desire from this material world, 100% you will come. By whose order? Nobody's order, by your own choice. So we are grateful that make such choices of coming here, back here, and rot in this material world. So that's why to know this truth is our prime duty. Okay, so having glorified this knowledge, Krishna will now begin to explain the relationship between 3 things. I mean, among 3 things. What is that? What is the jiva? Right? What is the prakruti? And who is the controller? So this is known as M, S, and C. Matter, spirit, controller of both. Right? These fundamental knowledge, if you and me have, then we will rise in Sattva Gun. Sattva Gun is a gun like an airport. All right? If you want to fly, you cannot fly from your street or from your house or from your garage driveway. No. You have to go to airport. Airport you can catch a flight. Similarly, this Sattva Gun is airport. That's where you go, and that will take you the flight of liberation to Vaikuntha. So our duty is to first of all rise from whatever conditioning we are. There is a test. There are 18 questions. How many questions? 18. If I ask you those 18 questions and you answer A, B, C, right? Then at the end of 18 chapters, you will know which guni is so much in you which gun is bad in this, like that. So they have devised this psychoanalytic kind of questionnaire. I went undertook this when I was in Africa. That time it was costing me $3, right? And I did it by mail. And then they found out I was 55% sattva gun and
Wow.
10% rajas gun in between. I mean 10% tamu gun, like that. So if you want, we can do. Now it's available free of charge. So if you want, we can do it later, provided we have time. Okay. So now in the slok number 3 and 4, the jiva's contact with Prakriti is described. How you and me have come under the ruling of this matter is explained. So what is the real cause of our getting bound here? One word.
Desire.
Desire. Right? You and me desired. Now what was the desire?
You want to enjoy.
That's part
Lord
of
it over nature.
Yes, but that's also half the answer. The other half of the answer is
Dvesh.
And the
you want to enjoy, there is no problem. You want to enjoy or more Lord it over material nature independent of
Lord
Krishna.
Krishna.
Right? You don't want to follow his whatever. Says you enjoy, let me enjoy on my own. So Lord Krishna says what? You cannot serve. Okay? Because you are not, that's not your constitutional position, but you insist. No, I will enjoy my own. Okay. Then Lord Krishna says, okay, try, go and see. Right? So that is what our conditioning is. Now, at this conditioning, you and me should realize that I made a mistake. Right? I made a mistake. Now, what should I do? If you have fallen in a well, you will not always think, oh, how did I fall down this, there? No. Your prime concern is
How to get out.
Get out it, right? So forget about what mistake you did, this, that's fine. But now take help of the Guru. The Guru has dropped you a rope. Catch that rope and he will pull you out. Right? This is some of the analogies given here. All right. So first of all, when you desire like that, what happens is this. This happens at Mahavishnu's level, because we are all staying in Mahavishnu as long as we have material desires. All right. So as long as we have material desire, doesn't matter what time. All right. It may take trillions of years, but you are eternal. So trillions of years doesn't matter anything. So if you have desire and you are in Mahavishnu's body, then how can you come back here? When the new creation starts, that's where what happens? The material nature is already there, but it is dormant. All right. So Lord Mahavishnu looks at that material nature and it becomes agitated. All right. Just by glance. So all these are called spiritual potencies. Yogam Aishwaram, Bhagavan Krishna says. You and me cannot look at and make somebody awake like that, but he can. And in that glance, he throws all of us. All right. He throws all the jivas who have material desire, now go to this material and enjoy yourself. All right. So that's how we come from where? From the glance of that material nature. And by these jivas, the material nature is now impregnated. What is that material nature? What is her name?
Durga.
Durga. So Durga is impregnated by the glance of Mahavishnu. That glance of Mahavishnu is known as Lord Shiva. That's why Lord Shiva and Parvati are husband wife. That's why Lord Shiva is called Lingeshwari. All right, he has a ling by which he impregnates Mother Durga, and we are all like that. All this will be explained here like that. Okay, so in the fourth slok, Bhagavan Krishna says, Sarva yonisu konteya murteya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyonir aham brij pradah pita. All species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, the mother, and I as Mahavishnu am the seed-giving father. So that's up to the fourth slok. in the fifth through 9 slokas, how the material bodies bind the pure jiva is explained. In the 5th slok, he says, Sattvam rajas tama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibandhanti mahabaho dehe dehnam abhyam. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. These 3 gunas are produced of material nature. O mighty armed one, they bind the changeless living entity into the material body. So who creates this material body?
Durga Mata.
Durga Mata gives the ingredients. But who decides? Lord Brahma. But Brahma gives all these bodies. How many types? 8.4 million. All right. The mode of goodness is the purest of all 3 modes. It is illuminating and free from the sins and distress. Those situated in this mode become conditioned by sense of happiness and knowledge. O sinless Arjuna. In the 7th slok, he says, the mode of passion is born of desire, attachment for the attained and longing for the unattained. O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. Right? So this is known as attained and unattained. So something is which you don't have, you try to get it. And one which you have, you want to preserve it. Like that. So the mode of passion, Rajogun, is characterized by what? What is the best, most fundamental element of Rajogun?
Passion, desire, work.
Material desire.
In human life, all the animal life, everywhere, the Rajogun is presented by what? Attraction between male and female. Punsastriya mithuni bhava metam tayor mithor hriday granthim mahu. This is Rushabdev Maharaj look like that. But that is where the Rajogun starts, where the attraction between male and female, woman. And when the passion is increased, one develops hankering for material enjoyment and works very hard and becomes bound to his activities. Right? So some people say work is worship. They doesn't know that work is bondage. He doesn't know. So does it mean that we should not work?
No.
We should work.
We should work how?
Yagnathat karmano.
Bas. Yagnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma. So whatever activities you do, somehow or other dovetail in the service of Lord Krishna.
Lord Krishna,
Right?
yes.
Now, how to do this practically?
You can
Whatever you earn,
Mhm.
part of it you work towards his service.
Krishna.
That's it. There's one example. Like all other activities, you can somehow or other dovetail. In 9th chapter, Lord Krishna said the same thing. Yat karosi yad asnasi yad juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad purushoma arpana. You do some simple arpanam, just like we always say, drinking water. Drinking water is, everybody drinks water, including animals. But those who want to get out of bondage, how will they drink? They will drink with remembrance of Lord Krishna. That's how that activity is spiritual. It will not bind you. But if you drink water or any other liquid, this, that, without offering, then what is it? Bhunjate agam papa. Right? It binds you. That's why all this spiritual technology, spiritual software, one has to learn. From whom? From Guru, who knows all this knowledge. Right? And knowledge has come from Lord Krishna. So it's infallible knowledge. Right? So that is the importance. All right. In the 8th slok, Lord Krishna says, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. This mode binds the jiva with madness, laziness, and sleep, O son of Bharat. Right? So what is the word? Laziness.
Laziness.
And the modern culture is advertising furniture shop as what?
Lazy boy.
They want to make you lazy boys and keep keep remain bound in the material. I like that. So goodness conditions 1, 2. If you are in goodness, what will be your symptom? Will you be morose? Will you be in pain, anxiety, or you will be stable, happy? What will be your condition?
Happy and knowledgeable.
Yes, in Sattva Gun, you will feel good. You will feel happiness because you see things as they are. All right. For example, if somebody tells you bad words, it tells you. So how can you react in Tamogun? If you are in Tamogun, how will you react?
You will call him back. You will
you will become angry. All right. So the anger, and you are in Rajogun, you will not get angry, but you will tell him bad words yourself. And the third, in Sattva Gun, if you are there, how will you react?
Ignore it.
You will say that this man is telling me bad words, but the real culprit is myself. I must have done this to him before. So it nullifies. Why? Because your knowledge of spirit, soul, karma, kshetra, kshetragna, all this you know. That's why you will remain stable. That is the stage, that is the airport strip where you can take you to. That's why Lord Krishna, so many places in Bhagavad Gita says, remain equibalanced in happiness and distress, in loss and profit.
pain and suffering.
You remain stable. Why? Because all these are temporary.
પંકજભાઈ મને ક્વેશ્ચન છે આપણે નાના છોકરા હોય મારી શિવા ક્લાસમાં એને કોઈ ખરાબ વર્ડ્સ કહ્યો તો પછી એને ટીચર ને બી ના કહ્યું અને પછી મને ઘરે આવીને કહ્યું તો મેં તે શું કહ્યું તો કે I didn't say anything, I wanted to say bad word too, but I didn't say. So એવું સિચ્યુએશનમાં what can they do?
So he did good. He is in Sattva Gun. That's why he didn't react.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah. So teach your children tolerance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Don't say
tolerance.
anything.
Yeah, because otherwise it could have led to so many problems. If we did that, then they will fight. The parents will be called, and there will be meetings and whatnot. Right? But if the child remains stable, let him speak whatever, no problem. Right?
If it is wrong, then she has to do that, protest herself.
If he is injuring him or something like that, verbal is okay, you can ignore.
But like it's a fighting, and then
if he injures like that, then the child should report to the teacher or like that. That's how it is.
Like here also, Arjun, he is not fighting. Krishna says him, you fight for your right. So
Right.
Herself can get into trouble. That's the problem.
Not that kind of fight, but at least she has right to protect herself. So she can complain the teacher. She doesn't have to stay like just keep quiet or anything.
Right.
She has to say.
Because otherwise these other kids, they become
bullies. They are bullies.
If you don't stand up, then they bully you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Ravi does, but Shiva little.
But if somebody hits you, you should not hit back. All right, because that
at
will
least you
flare
can
up.
stop
Like
them.
that.
Just hold the hand.
The teacher, you can complain.
See, in general, all these things, if you create enmity with someone, right, and if you react like that, that chain will keep on going.
Yes,
right?
true.
So if somebody slaps you, you put your hand for friendship. Okay, sir, I did something wrong to you, but let's forget. Let's be friends. Will you think this war will go on?
No.
That's Sattva Gun. All right, humility, tolerance. All right, all these things are very high virtues, very difficult for us to even. I can say practically, but practically sometimes it's very difficult to control.
It is.
Yeah. So that's why if you render service to Prabhupada Maharaj, chant and render service, these guns will come by their own. Yasyasya bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Sarve gune samasate sura. If you have Bhagavan Krishna's birthday, all these virtues will come and stay in your body. Like that. So that's how we should learn. So when somebody is in Sattva Gun, he is happy and stable. When he's in Rajogun, what will happen to him? How will he work?
Angry.
Rajogun, he will
Dash out words.
lot of effort, you know. Sometimes I was in Rajoguns. So I was working from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
But Bhagavan Krishna was so merciful, Prabhupada Maharaj was so merciful, that during this 4 a.m. to 6 p.m., I was working, and at the same time, what was I doing? I was hearing
Doing the
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam.
That is Bhagavan Krishna's mercy. Right? So this is how you can dovetail services. Doesn't matter you are in Rajoguna, even Tamogun. But if you are dovetailing somehow with Lord Krishna's service, it become all Sattva Gun like. All right. And in the Tamogun, what is the most important symptom of Tamogun? Excessive sleep.
Oh.
Like Kumbhakarna. He was used to sleep 6 months.
Ah.
But if you and me sleep more than 6 hours, that is going to now more Tamogun. So 6 to 7 hours, this is good. You know, it's good for your health. They say that, you know, you should sleep 8 hours like that. But practically 6 to 7, you know, since I got retired, my sleep has reduced so much. But I sleep during the day also. I take rest like that. So when I wake up around 4 o'clock, like that. So that's how slowly one should reduce this. What is it? Ahar, Nidra, all these things we should reduce minimum. These 6 Goswamis, they were sleeping only few hours, 2 or 3 hours, that's all. And they were eating very little food. But still their brain was working so nice.
Yeah, Pankaj Bhai, I was going to ask you, like if you sleep less, like 4 or 5 hours, it starts affecting your mind and you lose memory. You start forgetting things.
Right.
You can't bring words to your tongue.
Right. So
that's true, right?
In that case, you should increase your sleep.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are people, all this is medically known as circadian rhythms. And it is all individual for the 6 hours they find out average for this. But it's not average. I mean, average is 6 hours, but individual you might require 8 hours, and some might require only 6 hours. Right? There was one CEO in Bombay. This man was very efficient man, and you know, very intelligent, this, that. But he had one belief in his life that he thought that sleeping is waste of life.
Oh, wow.
So he was trying not to sleep. And few hours, whatever sleep, he wakes up very early, around 3, 4 a.m. and goes running on the seashore. This was in Bombay. So he did that a few years, and one day he came back, he collapsed and died.
Yeah.
That was in the news. But you know, the thing is, one must balance this. All right. If you are sleeping so many hours, that's not good. You should find out what amount of sleep gives you complete relief from exhaustion and all that, like for yourself, like that.
And a nap, then one day you are really tired. I said, if you're getting up early every day, you don't take a nap in the afternoon, then you get, sometimes you're so tired that you just more hours.
So to wake up early in the morning is so good, and take a nap, even for 22. When I used to work like that, I used to wake up at around 2:30 or 3 a.m. Okay, to reach my job at 4 a.m. because I have to do Aarti Puja, everything before going. And then when I come at 6, I'm exhausted. But what I used to do, I had 30 minutes lunch break. All right. So I'll take 4 minutes to go to my car, 4 minutes come back. How many? 8 minutes gone. As soon as I reach my car, I put 22 minutes alarm on my watch. 22 minutes to rest, I'm fresh like anything. You know?
Right.
So that's why they say all successful people, they take nap in the afternoon because they wake up so early. There are some books like that. I had one book. This book is a very famous book.
What is it? Highly executive people?
Yeah.
7 highly executive people.
Right. So this is 7 habits of highly effective people. Right? Their lifestyle is inspiring so many people to live disciplined life. Right? So it's not that everybody has to follow rigidly. No, adjust in your way, but work it very efficiently like that. So these are some of the symptoms of Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. All right, let's go. Now, these 3 modes, how they work, this is explained from slok number 10 to 13. Recognize the prominence of mode. So there is competition going on between among these 3 modes. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, and sometimes passion, and sometimes rajas, tamas, like that. The modes appear and disappear according to the operation or exhaustion of. So what determines what mode will come in you? What determines?
Our actions.
Our actions, okay, but the actions will come after the mode works on you.
Right.
Right. So who determines what mode will come in this part of your day and like that?
Your mind?
We do.
Nature.
And,
Mind.
Prakriti.
That's old karma.
Oh.
Right. Your own karmas, when they fructify, they determine how you will work and which mode. Right. So they say the modes appear and disappear according to the operation or exhaustion of old karmas. The prominence of certain mode is manifested in one's dealings, activities, etc. One who is actually intent on advancing in bhakti has to transcend these 3 modes of material nature. Right? So then in 11, 12, 13, they are telling what happens when sattva guna is increasing, when rajas is increasing, tamoguna is increasing. This we already have seen. Now from 14 to 18, this is an important section also, where effect of conditioning by the modes are described. All right. So the effects are long-term effect, then medium-term effect, then immediate effect. So there are these 3 categories of effects of these modes. All right. So slok number 14, 15 describe the long-term effect. Long-term effect means what will happen after you finish your life, destination of the death. That long-term effect of this. Then 14.16 describes medium effect. 14.17 describes immediate effect. And 14.18 describes gives direction in the universe after death. So these are summarized like this. Destination after death for a person in goodness, what happens to him? Where does he go? Goodness.
Swarga.
He goes to higher planets like Brahmalok, Janalok. All right. The one in the passion,
It stays in the human form.
earthly planets, like we are in passion. All humans are highly in passion mode. All right. And then ignorance in lower species or animal kingdom. All right. All right. Having described all pervasive controls of modes, Krishna will now describe how to transcend the modes and explains his own position in relation to them. So this section of 19 to 27, please listen it carefully and try to see how you can apply in your life. All right. So the gist of this section is that Gnana stresses discrimination. First, when you have Gnan, what is the first Gnan? After ignorance.
I'm not this body.
I'm not this body. I am separate from this body. I am a spirit soul. So that is the first discrimination of real spiritual knowledge. All right. Discrimination ultimately leads one to appreciate that he is not this body. Number 2, he appreciates Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And number 3, he should take shelter of Krishna to become free. So these 3 components are known as knowledge. What is that first one?
I'm not this body.
Number 2?
Spiritual body.
No.
Lord Krishna is the controller.
The Lord Krishna is the Supreme. And then you should render service to Lord Krishna to become free. This we have discussed so many times. I'm not this body. I'm a spirit soul, part and parcel of Lord Krishna. My duty is to serve him, and then actually practically serve him. Then you will get liberated. All right. So the last step was to render service to Lord Krishna. So rendering service to Lord Krishna is technically known as what? Which yoga?
Bhakti.
Bhakti yoga.
Bhakti.
So now you can see how Gnan is leading to Bhakti. You see that?
Yeah.
Bahunam Janmanamante.
That is 19th sloka in 7th chapter. So this is how Gnan leads you to Bhakti. But if you and me directly do Bhakti without even knowing all these things, for example, a lot of Krishna devotees, they chant on the Nagar Sankirtan. All right. So you are a new person, you don't know anything about it. These people are Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna is Hare. And if you joined, you're directly going to Bhakti, even without you knowing. So this is the blazing of this Kali Yuga, Kirtanade Krishna Mukta Sangha Samaj. So in the 19th slok, seeing the modes as doers and the Lord as transcendental. So when one sees that there is no other performer of the actions than the material modes, and knows that the Supreme Lord and even the Jiva is transcendental to the modes, he attains spiritual nature, crossing beyond this material existence. This is what Lord Krishna says in 19th chapter. So you need to understand, all right, that all your activities, because of your past karma, they induce modes to make you work. All right. So because of my bad karma, last Sanchit karma, now the mode is making you to work from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. That is the reason. But as I understand now, with the knowledge, there is these, whatever is in my karma will come, but I need to do Bhagavan Krishna's bhakti, surrender to him through a guru. And then how? That's how I can get out of this mode's influence. When one can surpass the modes associated with the body, which give rise to the body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and diseases, and enjoy nectar even in present life, and he eventually attain eternal life. So this was explained in 20th sloka. So hearing the results of surpassing the modes, Arjun will now ask Krishna about the process of transcending the modes and symptoms and behavior of such a person who has transcended the modes. The person who has transcended the modes of material nature is known as what?
Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya.
He is known as Gunatit.
Gunatit, yeah.
Oh,
Gunatit means beyond the gunas, 3 modes of material. He is beyond. He is acting. His actions are not in any of these modes. All right? Why? Because his karmas are burnt. By who? Lord Krishna. That's why now he is there. But what was that process? What is that process? The process is Vyabhicharini Bhakti, which will come now in 26 sloka. All right. So in 21, Arjun is asking about Gunatit. All right. His one question is, by what symptoms is such Gunatit known? All right. If you want to find out this man is Gunatit or not, what are his symptoms? All right. Number 2, what is his behavior? And number 3, what is the process of going beyond the material modes? So these 3 kinds of questions Arjun is asking in sloka number 22 through 26. Right? Arjun had asked also some similar questions somewhere in another chapter. Which chapter?
8.
No.
2.
Yes, very good. What question was that?
Sita Pragna.
Very good, very good. What sloka was that?
Ka bhasha.
Samadhistasya kesava. Sthitadihi kim prabhaseta.
Kim asita
vrajeta ki. So similarly, he's asking about the Gunatit person here. All right. So Krishna's answer to Arjun's questions about the Gunatit. Symptom of Gunatit is he does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, or long for them when they disappear. So first of all right, if he is in illumination, or he is in Rajogun, or he is in Tamogun, he is not agitated. All right. he remains stable. So this is first symptom, that he is remaining equibalanced all the time. All right. Number two, what is the behavior? What is his external conduct? So he remains neutral, udasin, and undisturbed by reactions of the moods, knowing that the moods alone are active. He is equal in happiness and distress. Sama, dukha, sukha. Then he is firmly situated in the self, swastaha. He sees a lump of earth, a stone, and gold as the same. Sama, losta asma kanchana. So this is what we should find out, that whether somebody is being influenced by the money or not. Money you can earn in the honest way, all right? If you are earning money not honest way, that is not a symptom of a gunatit person, all right? Again, he is equal towards the dear and not dear. Tulya, priya, apriya. Then he is dhira, steady. He is equal towards praise and blame. Tulya, nindatma, samstuteha. Tulya, ninda, stutirmauni, santustaye nakenacha. That also is mentioned before. Equal in honor and dishonor. All right. And then treats friends and enemy alike. Tulya mitrari pakshayoho. Renounces all material activities. Sarvarambha parityaga. So material activities you and me cannot remain without doing. So gunatit person will do how? He will renounce all material activities. Means what? He will do all these activities, but in the service of Lord Krishna.
Lord Krishna.
So the whole gist of all this thing is what? That you put all your activities in service of Lord Krishna, you are gunatit, like that. But bhakti is the one which will bring all these virtues in your personality. So that's where now comes the 26th slok, which is most important slok. So let's sing that. Mam chayo avyabhicharena.
Mam chayo vyabhicharena
Bhakti yogena sevate.
Bhakti yogena sevate
Sagunan samatityaitan.
Sagunan samatityaitan
Brahma bhuyaya kalpate.
Brahma bhuyaya kalpate.
So this slok is the most important slok of not only this chapter, the whole Bhagavad Gita. All right. So I want to go a little deeper in that. We still have time. No, we don't have much time. Okay. In the translation, Prabhupada writes, one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the material modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahma. Right? So, in the gist of this slok is, a person achieves transcendence over material nature by unfailing determination in devotional service. All right. Number two, a person fixed in devotional service retains his influential, infinitesimal, means small separateness and individuality. Otherwise, there could be no bhakti yoga. So by practice of devotional service, one can get free from the infection of material nature, and then one can serve the Supreme Lord in transcendental relationship. So this is,
what's the number on that shloka?
that slok is 26.
26.
14,
26.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So in this slok, Krishna said that by bhakti, one will attain Brahma. Right? So Brahm, you are already Brahma. Right? Aham Brahmasmi. So what is that meaning of the Brahma? Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi means I am a spirit soul. All right? And this Brahma is that effulgence of Lord Krishna's body. Yasya Prabha Prabhavatu. So Krishna said that by bhakti one attains Brahma. Where does he say? Brahma Bhuyai Kalpate. Right? Brahma Bhuyai Kalpate. So he becomes spirit soul, he is already, but now he becomes accessible to the Brahma. So Brahma's feature is what out of Satchidanand? Brahma is Sat, eternal. So he gains the eternal status, which he has, but now he realizes this. But a devotee doesn't desire Brahm realization, but wants to serve Krishna. Therefore, Krishna describes his own relationship with Brahma and thus stresses bhakti again. Do you see that? He says Brahma Bhuyai Kalpate. Right? The bhakta does not want to get Brahma only. He doesn't want even Paramatma realization. What realization he wants, Padmaven?
He wants to be in his service, Bhagwan's service.
Bhagwan realization. Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagwan.
Bhagwan.
Right? Why he wants Bhagwan?
Because over there is everything, Sat, Chit and Anand, three.
Anand. Right?
Anand.
Yeah, Anand is the real element which you and me look for. Right? And you cannot become completely happy in Brahma realization. Why? In Brahma realization, there is only absence of misery. There is no positive pleasure. Brahmanand is there, but compared to Bhakti, Brahmanand, Brahma is just one drop compared to Bhakti, which is ocean of Anandam Buddhivardhanam, Pratipadam. That is Bhakti. All right. So this is the comparison between these two. So the Bhakta doesn't want to remain in Brahma. All right. So that's why Lord Krishna says the next sloka. Brahmano hi pratistham.
Brahmano hi pratistham.
Amrutasya avyayasya cha.
Amrutasya
Sasvatasya cha dharmasya.
Shashvatasya cha dharmasya.
Sukhesya kantikasya cha.
Sukhasya kantikasya.
So now he tells the person who has reached Brahma stage, his devotee, he says, I am the basis or the shelter of this impersonal Brahma, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position or platform of ultimate bliss. Right? So you will not remain at Brahma, but you will come to Bhagwan realization. Why? Because you want to serve me. Those who don't want to serve, they will remain at Brahma. Anadhrut yusmadangre. That's what the Bhagavatam there is a sloka. So the root of all our desires should be this one. What is that? Bhagwan. I want to serve Lord Krishna. Then you will reach that stage. All right. So here the note is that when one has attained the level of Brahma, that is freedom from the contamination of the modes of material nature, he becomes qualified to engage in bhakti, devotional service of Parabrahma, the Supreme Brahma, Lord Sri Krishna. Krishna is the basis of eternal process of bhakti that gives rise to realization of the personality of Krishna. Both Brahma and Paramatma are within the Supreme Person, Lord Krishna. Thus, the realization of Brahma or eternity is included in bhakti unto Krishna and is already possessed by a devotee. And Krishna is also the basis of the bliss of unalloyed devotees. So this is how we should understand these three modes of material nature. The gist of understanding is that you and me, and currently we are bound by all these three modes of material nature. Sometimes that's the sattva gun takes place, sometimes rajas, and all depending on our karma. Right? And we are floating like that. Prakrute kriyamani gunehi karmani sarva. You think that I am doing this, but no, the gun is making you to do this. That we don't realize. But out of all this teaching, knowledge, everything, one thing only, that try to render service, selfless service, niskam, to Bhagavan Krishna. Everything is now concentrated there only. The whole message of Bhagavad Gita is this: Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Right? Bhakti yoga, bhag means seva, bhaj sevayam. You have to do some seva to Lord Krishna and do Lord Krishna's devotee seva. Chadiya Vaishnava seva, Paibe Nistar ke baad. Means without serving a Vaishnava, you cannot get liberated. This is the whole gist of understanding this Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter. So we are almost 1 hour now. So we'll discuss the 15th chapter, which we have done sometimes back also. 15th chapter is very important. Right? Because the inverted tree. Inverted tree. So that one we will discuss tomorrow, like that. All right. Thank you very much for attending. So
Thank
we'll
you.
meet tomorrow.
Teaching us.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Vancha
Namaste.
kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo
Krishnavebhyo namo namah.
Shri Krishna arpanamastu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.